The twilight watches us all, Guardian. What do you need, Guardian?
Just look at that stunning view. What? I wasn't looking at you, I was looking at... Okay, I was looking at you.
I have a lot of respect for the Restoration School. Skyrim could use more healers.
Come on in. Just stoke the fire. Take a seat and get the cold out.
You there. Heed my request. It'll only take a moment of your time. For what I ask plain. If you're a bard, for your own sake, do not sing, for your voice cannot compare to mine. I was afraid as much. One cannot hide who truly is. Nobles, thanes, jarls, these are the sorts of people I consider my peers. You're wrong. I wasn't always a handsome bard. I used to be a handsome adventurer, and before that I was just handsome. Unfortunately, my adventuring days came to an end after I nearly lost my life in a scuffle with a group of bandits known as the Silver Hand. After that, I figured it wasn't worth it. Sure, I was a damn good fighter, the best, but I was damn near good at everything else too. I owed it to this world to keep me alive. I can't even begin to imagine what sort of Daedric nightmare Skyrim would be if I didn't exist. It happened in an inn, not unlike this one, where I met this lovely tavern wench, a bit chubby, but on the voluptuous side of fat. I could have charmed and cajoled her, but I've always been the type to show rather than tell. So I showed her just exactly how her previous lovers had failed her. Unfortunately, my fevered thrusts were such that she accused me of turning into a beast during the height of my passion. Literally. To be specific, she said I was a werewolf. When rumors spread around of my transformation, I became a target of the Silver Hand. That wench made the coffin maker a lot of money that day, with all the men I was now forced to kill. I'm beginning to think the two were kin. If you want to be a great fighter, I only have one tip. Be me. Since that is impossible, instructing you would be a waste of both of our time. I don't mean it as an insult regarding your ability, just a matter of praise for mine. Some people take it the wrong way, however. Foremost among them was that Breton imp. He's an old acquaintance of mine. Joined up with wolf hunters just so he could have a chance to kill me. As if I could be killed. In fact, the little carrot licker's been trying to kill me for more than a dozen years now, back when my balls had more fur than his chin. We fought with swords, bare knuckles, knives, bows, and scrolls. We fought in the snow, in caves, in taverns, and on horseback. We fought alone, with companions, on opposite sides of the war. The one place he doesn't like to fight is out in the sun. I think it's because he's a bloody vampire. Now that I'm a bard, He'll likely become a writer so he can document his lies in books while I immortalize the truth in song. You'll have to ask him. I haven't the faintest idea. Probably fell in love with me or something, seeing as I have that effect on women and men. All I know is, wherever I go, he manages to show up. How should I know? He told it to me once. Shouted it at me, really. But I couldn't be bothered to remember such an insignificant detail. You'll likely find him wherever it is filthy skeevers like to congregate. My name will most assuredly be the first word out of his mouth. Some think it was a voice born to tell stories, or one meant to lead men into battle. Others contend my very throat was forged by dragonfire. I've heard some describe it like a bottle of hard whiskey and boiled potatoes, like smoke misting off hot coals. Most tell me it's a voice that carries with it a sense of authority, a voice fit for a king. I do nothing to dissuade such accusations. Now imagine this regal, manly voice of mine singing all the bard's favorites. My patrons from here to Riften will come to this inn to hear it. Yet despite me doubling her business, Vaida insists on charging me for a room. Such greed is unbecoming. Of course you would. Tell me, with what song shall I escort you to the heavens? Yes, it's natural for you to assume that I compose as well as I sing. And as a matter of fact, I do. But not for free. I will perform a song you may not have heard before, but alas, it is not mine to claim. This song is called The Wolves of Jorrvaskr.
The wolves stood upon great Jorrvaskr to meet the sons of Ysgramor. They said, "What are you but a harbinger to leave us hopeless and forlorn?" The wolf brought its fangs and spread its claws and tore at its own hide. Drink the blood and become my sons, or by dawn you'll not survive. And so the pack was born again as the wolves of Jorrvaskr, to rule in life and serve in death as a moonlight-bound hunter. And so the pack was born again as the wolves of Jorrvaskr, to rule in life and serve in death as a moonlight's dark hunter. Something on your mind?
Let's get going.
Need something? Until next time.
Fate is the name. I keep the inn. Something different about you, I can tell. Hope you ain't here to cause trouble. Nords don't care much for magic. The college in Winterhold is about the only place it's not looked down on. Otherwise, you could talk to the Jarl's pet wizard in solitude. People say there's someone in Riften that can change your face. Make you look completely different. Do you believe that? Good day.
Something on your mind?
I'm hoping to run my own inn someday.
What is it? You, tell me. Do you think I'm attractive? Thank you. I suspected as much. Which makes it all the more confusing why Nelos ignores me for that horse of a high elf. It must be out of pity or hunger. I've always said her nose reminds me of a giant turnip. Alduin is my arch enemy, my nemesis in love. Nelos is always talking to her, confiding in her, when he should be doing those things with me. It makes no sense why he prefers her company. Unlike that Somerset I saw, I'm a fellow Dunmer. Not to mention I'm cuter, funnier, and by far the more talented mage. And the worst part is they just met. How can he value the counsel of that drunk over his companion of 5 years? You're handsome for a Slode, but my heart belongs to Nelos. I am, and I'll have you know it wasn't all talent. I worked very hard to become the mage I am, a mage not everyone thought I could be. I still remember when I was but a novice at the college. Whenever I cast a destruction spell, everyone would comment on what a good enchanter I was. I didn't realize it at the time, but I think they were insulting me. Although, to be fair, I am a good enchanter. The best. Yes, but I found where I truly excel is with spells of frost and cold. I was in the Arcaneum studying a tome on that very subject when I first met Nelos. He looked so menacing with that lick of hair and blades of war paint slashed across his face, yet his voice was gentle. He asked me if I understood the tome I read. I could only nod what remained of my head as my body melted into the floor. His questions turned out to be a sort of audition, one that I naturally passed with flying colours, despite Nelos having sailed under false ones. Nelos recognized my talent for destruction and chose to cultivate it, whereas Mirabelle wanted me to train under the Master Enchanter. Of course, he wouldn't accept me into his guild without first passing 3 additional tests. The first was to still his heart, the second was to make him smile, and the third was to take his breath away. Okay, so maybe those tests were self-imposed, but I still plan on passing them. Arguably the greatest mage in all of Tamriel. But when it comes to who is most dashing, I will tolerate no argument. He is a Dunmer of average height, but immeasurable stature, his eyes burning with the fire of the Red Mountain itself. For all those who serve the guild, he is our leader, our mentor, our muse. He is the hand and we are the fingers, waiting for the long night when we clutch all of Nirn in our palm. You aren't half as handsome as a mud crab, and not even worth comparing to Nelos. It was a book recommended to me by the librarian's apprentice on the nature of destruction magic. While some schools attempt to mimic reality and others try to alter it, it was unclear whether destruction was doing one or the other. When you harness the elements, do you draw them from nature or manifest them? When heat is drawn to make fire, does the air lose warmth? Much of this was explained to me by Nelos. Not that I needed him to. I understood it just fine. I just wanted to hear his voice. In any case, he told me how the answer lies in the beasts of the wild and the world around us. When plants fail to grow in mage light, it's proof alteration is not natural. When the invisible can be touched, it proves that illusion is not real. Then look at the way catfish come to the surface when the earth is about to quake, or how rodents scurry indoors days before winter. Nature knows what's real, and it will react to a coming storm in the same fashion, whether it made by mortals or gods. Arguably the greatest mage in all of Tamriel. But when it comes to who is most dashing, I will tolerate no argument. He is a Dunmer of average height, but immeasurable stature, his eyes burning with the fire of the Red Mountain itself. For all those who serve the guild, he is our leader, our mentor, our muse. He is the hand and we are the fingers, waiting for the long night when we clutch all of Nirn in our palm. Savos may have once been a powerful mage, but now he is nothing more than an administrator, more adept at delegating duties than casting spells. There's no way to be certain why the Divines blessed me with such a specific gift, but I do know how. You see, fire scorches and lightning shocks, but ice is a paradox, for it can both destroy and preserve. In fact, my grandmother once believed frost magic was the key to eternal youth. Well, the old bat thought if she slowed the heart and the body, she could slow the aging process itself. Every day she cast frost spells on herself, trying to delay the appointment the wrinkles had with her neck. Yet it only left her skin cracked and dry and whiter than a Nord's. She was a living ghost. Soon her health began to fail and she no longer could muster up the magicka for her daily treatment. That's when she bought me a tome on frostbite. She was completely mad, of course. Should a child always listen to her elders? Was it wrong for me to end her miserable existence? Those spells restore the body to their natural state. Aging is natural, death is natural, so restoration would only undo what the frost had done. In this instance, it might have saved her life, but it would not have made her young. Now, frost spells, they will undoubtedly kill you as they killed her. On the other hand, her corpse is very well preserved. When the guild I belonged to last met, Nelos instructed us to refrain from contact for the time being. I suspected this might be some clever attempt for him and Alduin to escape on some tryst, which neither I nor the laws of decency could abide by. So I followed Nelos to Harfinger, but only got as far as Dragonbridge before I lost track of him. I wait here now in hopes that he might return, and in fear that she will be with him when he does. Alduin is my arch enemy, my nemesis in love. Nelos is always talking to her, confiding in her, when he should be doing those things with me. It makes no sense why he prefers her company. Unlike that Somerset I saw, I'm a fellow Dunmer. Not to mention I'm cuter, funnier, and by far the more talented mage. And the worst part is they just met. How can he value the counsel of that drunk over his companion of 5 years? That only serves to validate my point. The stupid Altmer bitch doesn't love Nelos. Meanwhile, I can't go 2 sentences without mentioning him. It doesn't surprise me. If I had as much hair on my back as she did, I'd probably fancy a Khajiit. Farewell. Make it quick.